Welcome to another episode of Real Estate AI Flash. I can't believe we're in December already, which means we're almost at a annual mark for this podcast, and we got a good one for you today. We have Charles Nedder, team leader of the Charles Nedder team from Connecticut, and I'm going to have him get into his background, but he is figured out how he's leveraging AI. He's going to share all that stuff about how he's scaling his business with AI. So Charlie, I should say, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was really nice meeting you a few weeks ago in Newport.
Yeah.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. So Charlie and I bumped into their company event in Newport, Rhode Island, and we were like, I was given an AI talk and he came up to me and the rest, as they say, is history. And we're here today. So I'd love for the listening audience to get to know your background a little bit. You're obviously very successful, lead a successful team, top 1% nationwide. But I would love for the audience to get to know your backstory and bring us to today.
Sure. So I graduated college in 1990, long before computers were in use.
Or DOS, Microsoft DOS.
That's what we had. I was in the School of Business, graduated with a business degree. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I had a great start. I opened a retail store, then 2, then 3, and had a really nice, successful career. I spent many days on the floor interacting with clients, learning people's behaviors face to face. And in 2003, I decided I wanted to transition. So I sold that business and with an interest in real estate, got my license and started practicing real estate. And from the beginning, I had a lot of success. I was very lucky. Those are the days when we had floor duty. The phone would ring and someone would come into the office, walk-ins, things that don't exist today. And I had some success. I ended up hiring an assistant who's still with me today, a couple agents on the team, and we've built it out now to 15 agents with 3 admin. So we're chugging along, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So was your family in real estate, or why did you make that shift from like retail to real estate? What was that moment for you?
Yeah. So the retail business was shifting, right? Yeah. Technology was becoming very important. And what's interesting in retail, there wasn't any leadership in technology. And yet in real estate, which was fascinating from an investment standpoint, I started out to buy investment properties for myself. There was a lot of support. There was support in the office. There was support at conferences. There was always someone to introduce a new product. And I had, a large community to rely on to kind of help push me forward.
Yeah, for sure. And you're now with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, New England, New York, and Hudson Valley Properties.
Yeah, which is a very tech company. It's interesting. I never think of Berkshire Hathaway as a tech-first company, and yet working there, I'm amazed every day at how advanced the company really is.
Yeah, for sure. So powerful. Well, good. No, it's an AI podcast, so let's kind of dig in a little bit, right? So we're just past the 2-year anniversary of ChatGPT, which is crazy. The last 2 years have been like whirlwind, It almost seemed like a decade in normal technology. Right? So I would love for you to share, what was your first aha moment with AI?
Wow. I remember it clearly because I'm struggling with a lot of personalities on this team, and not so long ago we had more than enough listings that we were marketing, and the marketing team was under a lot of pressure. And one of the agents on the team needed help with copywriting for one of her listings. She had very difficult sellers. She was very concerned about the whole marketing process. And we started with Jasper AI, actually, before ChatGPT. Someone had recommended it to me. And so we put the criteria in. It produced a really nice property description. We tweaked it. We sent it off to the sellers. They loved it. And we ended up using that. And I realized that what Jasper produced in minutes would have taken our copywriting team several hours, if not a day, to produce. And so I saw a time saver there immediately. And that was very important because 3admin is great, but it's not always enough, day to day when you're under a lot of pressure. It seems like everyone needs your attention.
Great starting point. I think that's listing descriptions, agent remarks it seems like where a lot of agents got their feet wet with ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
And then it sort of opened the door for other aha moments that I'm sure we'll talk about. So what was very fascinating, Charlie, when you and I were talking earlier before the call, for this recording, about how you were leveraging certain specific AI tools to scale your business. I believe the team leaders like yourself that become skilled with AI, I think you can get to like a production level. Like, what's your production level now with 15 agents and 3 admins? Like 2024, where would you end up?
So we'll do about 120 million in
120
GC.
million.
Yeah.
I believe that number can double with the same people as long as everybody's skilled with AI.
Oh, I agree.
Right? I think we're headed that direction, right?
We see it already.
Yeah. And so I think scaling your business, if you're a real estate agent listening to this, team leader or a broker, I think some of the stuff that Charlie's going to share, just topics, I think are going to be very instrumental in shaping your thought process. So let's dig in. You talked a little bit about when we were talking about how you were scaling your business with AI, digital assistant, depending on how you call it, right? Calling clients to book appointments, to do warm transfers. So talk us through the process about what tools you're using and how that helps your business.
So we've always been very heavy with lead generation. Lots and lots of leads coming into our CRM. But the problem is having the agents disciplined enough to call and to call and to call, right? We know it's 14 to 18 phone calls to get that first appointment. And the agents are busy. They're out showing and selling, which is great. So what we did is we hired an ISA team. And the ISA team was wonderful. They were booking appointments, but they weren't booking enough appointments. And it became very, very expensive to book one appointment. So we had an opportunity to start AI texting. The lead would come into the CRM. The AI would text the lead, qualify the lead, bedrooms, baths, price range. And the lead could be introduced via text to an agent, and then a live conversation could pick up. And that was great. We booked more appointments. We had more money to invest in leads. More leads came into the system. Fabulous. What we realized was it wasn't interactive enough. And so we had an opportunity then to fully replace the ISA department, and we put in AI voice. So we have no ISA department today. We have AI texting and AI voice. And this, to me, is so fascinating. The lead comes into our CRM. The AI voice will call that lead continuously until they make contact. They'll have a transcript that's provided to the agent, and then a warm live transfer is made to one of the agents on the team.
Wow.
So very, very powerful tool. And the AI with no emotion will continue to call, right? And meet the lead where they are.
What's crazy good is that AI does, to your point, doesn't have emotion, but also doesn't get tired. Right? So the tools you mentioned, AI voice and AI text, you're using it through a company, right? Ylopo, is it?
We do, yes.
Yeah. Well,
yes.
So is there any metrics you've come up with, Charles, about, I have a couple of follow-up questions, metrics around how much you were spending for ISA and kind of how many appointments you were getting? Have you done any of that stuff?
So I can give you some broad numbers.
Strokes is good.
Yeah. So the AI is 1/50th, which is mind-boggling, 1/50th of the cost of the ISA team that we had. And the AI books 3 times the number of appointments, which is also unbelievable to me.
Crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah. And what's disappointing to me is that I'm not putting more opportunities in front of the AI for the AI to call, right? There is a almost a fear of too much success, that
Yeah.
they book too many appointments.
So top of the funnel, you're investing in money in generating leads, which is money out of your pocket. And the more closings you have, obviously, it just feeds itself, obviously, right? The efficiency of the process. The other thing I was going to ask you was, are you potentially trying AI voice with sphere of influence, people that are in your sphere, potentially? Are you going there with it?
So where we are right now, it's only working on new leads coming
Yeah.
into the database. Our program that we're working, and we're working with Ylopo to build this out, is that they will call past clients and sphere of influence.
Mm.
It will also be connected to our calendar, and the AI will actually be able to, book a follow-up call in your calendar if necessary, or actually schedule that listing appointment or buyer consultation appointment in your calendar. So little small things that are so doable, but we're not quite there yet. We're working on it.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great start, though. I mean, if you master one channel of internet lead generation, and most people that have dabbled with internet lead generation, I feel like lose on the last mile, which is pick up the phone and call. I remember I don't know if you're a big Glenn Ross movie buff, like always be closing, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's that phone call, it's the text, it's like being like dog on a bone philosophy. And that's what AI is getting good doing that for you. So your agents are actually happy because they're getting a warm lead transfer and they want to do more of that. Right.
And the agents are excited for the opportunities because it's consistent. It's not as a roller coaster where they're busy, not busy, busy, not busy. There's always activity. There's always a reason to come into the office. There's always a reason, to piggyback on the AI. If the AI called and the phone call was disconnected for any reason, the agent can call back immediately. So they have a lot of information that's so valuable, so data rich, that didn't exist 6 months ago.
How is so if I'm one of the agents on your team, Charlie, right, and the AI makes the warm call to me, do I instantly have access to the conversation?
You do. You have access to the conversation. You get a transcript in the CRM. So if you're at your desk, it's great. But the reality is, most of the time, the agents are not at their desk. They're in their car. They're at the supermarket. They're Starbucks. And what's nice, they can have a very natural, easy conversation. They can explain to the client that they're not at their desk. And the AI will, continue to take all of the notes. They don't have to have a pen, paper, zero, nothing. It's fabulous. It's amazing. And when they get back to the office, they then can refer to all of those notes and follow up with the client.
So if it's a warm transfer to me, it's recording my conversation or transcript?
It records the conversation and it takes beautiful, beautiful notes, really
Perfect.
bullet point, beautiful notes. And it provides a follow-up action. So nice. If you told me you were looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, it'll actually alert the agent, these are the properties that meet that criteria, please send them over.
Nice. And so since you have the transcript of the AI, so first conversation, AI conversation with the client, lead, and then my actual live agent conversation with the lead, are you doing anything to take that transcript and use AI to say, how could we have done better with this?
So we do have skill building, and we use AI for voice role play with the agents. And nice. We do have a sales manager that listens to the calls. Mm-hmm. However, we have not yet uploaded, that's coming, but we will upload all of these conversations into ChatGPT to actually get learning lessons. Yeah. When they're role playing with the AI, they do get feedback from the AI how to improve, but we have not yet taken the live transfers and uploaded those to ChatGPT.
So this is fascinating because it's obviously just having the transcripts for the conversations, et cetera, how you're interacting with the client. I recently had a guest from Pocono Real Estate, Maxwell Stevens, who turned me on to a hardware device called Plod. Have you heard of Plod.ai?
Have not heard of Plod, no.
So this is a hardware device like a credit card, sticks on the back of your phone, Plod, and you could record conversations, client meetings, with obviously taking the permission. And now I'm not taking any notes at any meeting. I just plot it. And what it does is it has a transcript, and then you click a button in my phone, generate meeting minutes, and it's AI that's generating it. It gives you the next steps. If you said, Charlie wanted to get him introduced to a loan officer, it just says next steps, introduce Charlie. So it just kind of gives you that. But I feel like that could complement non-AI calling things and transcribing things, in-person meetings. And I'll share with you one of the meeting minutes that I took when I was at a Realtor.com conference, and I just plotted the whole thing. And,
oh my gosh!
It's game changer. And one of the things that occurred to me was, and some of our agents are starting to purchase these things and use it at client meetings. I said, when you get it, you can upload the transcript to ChatGPT, to our discussion, and ask it, what could I have done better with my client meeting? Review the transcript. So kind of get continuous feedback. So there's so many applications to transcripts, right? So I'll share a Plod meeting minutes, so maybe you'll be inspired to get one for yourself.
Oh, that's very powerful. That's very powerful. So it's a skill builder.
It could be a skill builder, but it does an amazing job at taking minutes for meetings.
That's great. Yeah. I love that.
And the fact that, now you don't have to worry about listening to the client, taking notes. Now you're fully attentive, 100% listening to the client or
and
whatever meeting it is, right? So,
I still go out into the field with my agents, especially the new agents, and they struggle, right? Just opening the key box, getting in the door is very stressful for them when they're with a buyer.
Yeah.
So they forget a lot of things that are very natural for me. And at a listing presentation, sometimes they get very excited and they want to share, and they forget it's a human business, that you really have to listen to the client. So what a nice 100%. Way to take notes and have some.
And agents that have started to use it said no client has not said don't record this. And if you preface it properly, I'm recording it so I can send you the follow-up meeting minutes. I can pay full attention to what you're saying. So I think it's a really game changer. I mean, there's probably Otter.ai on your phone. There's some tools like that too, but this I'm digging Plod.
Plod, okay.
Plod.ai. So
I'm putting that on my wish list for the holidays.
So you're doing Christmas wish list. It's not that expensive though. But so you're doing AI voice, AI text. What else are you using AI for beyond those two things to scale your business?
So we were using it, but I'm making some shifts at the moment. We were using it with recruiting. So we were running recruiting ads. The agents would, the interviewees would reply, and the AI would talk to them. I have to build that out just a little bit better. So that's not perfect yet, but that's a nice way for scaling. We also use it, as I said, for role play. I love it for role play with the agents. We're working on that. It's not perfect yet, but it's really helpful. And we use, as modern as we are, we still have a lot of people that are very, very traditional on my team. And so we're using it for open houses, updating customer list with sign-in list. Those lists can automatically get scanned into ChatGPT and then uploaded as a file into our CRM. So it's very clean, easy to read their name, phone number, and email.
That's great.
It's just kind of fun.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Cool. Anything else before we shift to my two questions I ask every one of my guests?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm really in the beginning of AI, so I really appreciate you having me be on here. And if you have me back in a few months, I'm sure I'll have a lot more to share.
For sure. I mean, we're all learning, Charlie. I can tell you. I think that the things you've shared about how you're scaling early in scaling your business, I think is a key takeaway for me in this podcast. And I believe that you'll have a 5-10% team doing 100 million. Like in your case, 15% team, quarter billion. You will do that because everybody is 5xing, 10xing their productivity because of AI tools. I will share with you. I watched a video. I follow a few influencers on X that are AI people. I don't know where X is going. That's a whole other topic. You know, I will share this AI influencer did a video about how did she built an AI first mindset company, and she talks about how she looks at AI from everything they do, top of the funnel, not the tool. Tool will come once you agree on it. I'll share that video. It's a 30-minute video. It's fascinating. And she said they've 10x their productivity in their company.
Wow. Wow.
So again, we're all early in this journey, but it's fascinating. And the best, I mean, I love what you're sharing because you're not just talking about AI, you're actually implementing certain specific things that are actually making a meaningful impact, like you shared with some of the metrics. So here are my final two questions. Let's get to the questions. You've been in real estate, what, 20 years now, Charlie?
21 years, almost
Wow.
22.
22, okay.
We're getting there.
That's right. So you've built a very successful team, and you've been in business for north of 20 years. If you were starting today in real estate, knowing what you know, what would you give? What was the main advice you'd give your younger self?
To be flexible. To be flexible. Yep. It sounds so strange. When I worked in when I started in college, everything was very linear.
Yeah.
And when I started my business, everything was very linear. You bought a product, you sold the product, and real estate doesn't work that way. It's a giant sphere that keeps expanding, and I think there's so many different avenues you can take, and you just have to be flexible because, the business at the end of the day is a very human, face-to-face, trusting business. But the way you get there is very different in 2024 than it was in 2003 when I started, when you sat in the office every day.
Yeah.
So my advice would be just to be flexible.
That's great advice. Yeah. Yeah. So the next question is, I don't know if you're a book person or a podcast person or a combo thereof, but we all have been influenced more by one or two books or podcasts than the others. So what would your book or podcast recommendation be?
So the book I'm reading now, which I'm really enjoying, is How to Make a Few $Billion by Brad Jacobs. I'm enjoying that book very, very much.
Nice.
And that probably goes back to being flexible also.
Yeah. Is he, so any excerpt from the book that can tease the audience to get it?
Oh, wow. There's so many points, but one point that he made that I really loved with your team is having an A, B, and C category. And anybody that's in the C category, they're gone.
They're gone.
Yeah. And so, every once in a while we'll have a team meeting and we'll all rank everybody A, B, C. And if there's a C, they're gone. And I'm happy to say my team doesn't have any C's. So
wow, that's awesome.
Good job right now.
It's almost like the Buffini method, right? If you know, the Buffini method was like A's, B's, and C's, right? I mean, and he teaches focus on the A's and B's, but it's very interesting. So I'll have to get that book. I'll add it to my list. But this has been fun, Charlie. I'm glad I met you in Newport a couple months ago. And we're already at the end of 2024. And I wish you continued success, and I'm sure we'll stay in touch.
Thank you. I look forward, and I appreciate everything you do for the community. You are amazing, and thank you.
So you are. Take care.
Bye-bye.